Shokugeki no Sanji is a prequel manga series, well, manga one shot, made by the creator of Shokugeki no Soma. And it serves as a kind of nice little look into Sanji's, personality, his life, up until right before he became a Straw Hat Pirate. You know, with the art done by Sake Shun, it is a very gorgeous piece of artwork to behold. And it's nice to see the Straw Hats done in a more detailed and interesting style. Now, we get to see Sanji's like full on cool side here, with him doing very much what he does best, cooking. You know, and who better to do this series than the person who does nothing but food based manga work, you know? With a story by Tsukude Yuto, it very much just gets to show Sanji on full display. And so our series begins with a food critic coming to the Barati and basically ridiculing and undermining the staff. And if you know anything about the crew of the Barati, they are very hardcore, kind of very tough as nails kind of crew. These are the toughest chefs in the Seven Seas. And, they don't take no gruff from nobody. So as everyone gets ready to kind of, throw down with this woman, not beat her up, of course, but just kind of give her a feast that'll shut her mouth for good. Uh, they have a hard time deciding who will be the one to actually do it. Mainly because Zeph is out for the day, and only so many of the cooks are actually there. Now, naturally, ultimately, since she didn't finish her food, Sanji takes a particular, like, hatred towards her. Because, his policy of you always finish your food, no matter what. Specifically because of what he went through, where, as a young boy, he almost starved. So, finishing your food is always important because, you know, you never know if it might be your last meal. No matter what, always finish what you have in front of you because it is a privilege to have that food. And so, as this critic starts to kind of demean and undermine, and just talk shit in general about the Barati, Zeph, and just everything that Sanji holds dear, naturally he decides to throw his hat into the ring, saying that should he create something that satisfies her palate, then she will finish every scrap of food that she did not complete on her table. And we have this moment where Sanji is just going to work on this, lobster and all these visuals, very nice. A lot of things that we only really ever saw in the anime. Certain anime fillers had Sanji just cooking up a storm, and it was always very fun to just see it happen. I think there was the cooking match he had against Carmen on when they were in Logtown. Um, and then there was that little bit of cooking he had done on in the G8 arc, which was just fun as hell. So, I've always enjoyed just seeing Sanji cook because it's just like that's his whole thing. While he may not be the greatest fighter out of all the Straw Hats, still one of the top ones, but not the greatest of all time, cooking is part of his character. And even during Whole Cake, where a lot of people were just like not digging on his cooking of a cake to satisfy Big Mom, I'm just like, that's always been Sanji's character. Sanji having pride in himself as a cook is just, such an intrinsic part of him. And just seeing him here just going at it is just, it's just fun to see. Oh, it's a great aside, and I would love to just have little, one shots here and there of just Sanji cooking meals and challenging other characters. I would love it if he somehow weighed his way into the world of Shokugeki no Soma. And even when Zeph comes in, he's just like, guys, trust in Sanji, no matter what. And the food that Sanji creates, oh god, is like this is the kind of stuff that makes me not want to read Shokugeki no Soma because the food looks so delicious. It has this glazed look, and the texture that the artist creates in this series is beautiful, a sight to behold. And naturally, we get the whole thing of Shokugeki no Soma, where, certain characters, both a male and female, when they eat like this dazzling food, it's almost like they're bare naked, and you see a visual of them without any clothes and crap. So you see this obese food critic woman just her clothes just fly off. She looks like she's having a goddamn orgasm, which immediately kind of makes me want to eat this food as well. We also get this character bio of this Tanamahawk spiny lobster, which Sanji had prepared, and it's said to be one of the most difficult types of dishes to prepare out there in the world, and where that even the most experienced chefs could I often fail at trying to prepare this. So it's just like I love all of this because it it shows Sanji in his natural element. We don't get the goofy perversion that is Sanji, that some really brings down his character in a lot of situations. Although lately they've been actually doing a better job with it, with meeting up with characters like Viola, and how he showed a type of dedication to them that really made it seem like, yes, Sanji just he's perverse, but he also has this sweet side with Viola and Pudding, and it's just like they're starting to kind of bring out a better side of Sanji in a lot of places. And even when the other chefs comment on the fact that it's just like, man, Shanji really beat that woman. It's just like, and he just very aloofly says, I would never strike down a woman. Like, man, this is the Sanji that I always loved. He did have a soft spot for women, but it wasn't played up to ludicrous degrees. And true to his word, he makes the woman finish every bite of her food that she left behind from the previous dishes. And, you know, despite having, misgivings about the whole thing, she does, stay true to her word as saying that she would finish the entire all of the food should Sanji create something that satisfies her palate. She did not realize that Sanji was the sous chef of the Baratie, which is basically like the head chef, the top tier chef, basically. When you really want to bring out the good stuff, and it's just such a cool fucking moment for Sanji. And even towards the end, with all of the restaurant goers cheering Sanji's victory, we see the approach of the Straw Hat ship coming to the Baratie for the first time. So, a very nice little what was happening right before the Straw Hats arrived at the Baratie. But, a very wonderful aside to have. You lose nothing by reading this chapter, and it's just very nice to see Sanji in a much cooler light than we normally get him in. Lately he's been very appearing very cool in a lot of places, especially on Whole Cake. He gets a lot of really cool moments. But this really goes to highlight his character. really show off his skills in their natural element. So I'm glad they decided to do a one shot like this. It was very masterfully done, and I hope we get to see more one shots like these, done by various other artists who can really bring out what makes the various Straw Hats special. Do one about every Straw Hat Pirate crew member, just done by various other artists who can really bring out the various other members of the Straw Hat crew. That would just be awesome to see. But that's all I have to say about this chapter. Tell me your thoughts on it in the comment section below. How did you feel about this little aside? Do you wish it was about something more intense like some fighting action? Or are you glad that they chose to have this kind of artist and author come together in order to tell this kind of story? Which did you feel it was as fitting as I did? It's like it just feels natural. And yeah, if you liked what I had to say about this one shot, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike. And hey, subscribe for more One Piece. Thanks for joining me.